Hiya, Honest Discussioner here. Did you know that you can program the diversity of a large species into one or two human beings? I certainly didn't, but that's probably because it's not true. But try telling that to a creation scientist. Previously, I discussed the findings of Christian scientist Dennis Venema, who showed that humanity could not have come from a single human couple, and that, therefore, the story of Adam and Eve could not be literally true. Now enter a gentleman who calls himself Just Chemical Ali. I'll just refer to him as Ali, who has this to say. Venema's model wasn't based on God creating Adam and Eve from scratch. Rather, he assumed evolutionary history and applied it to a hypothetical first couple. But if an Adam and Eve had no genetic lineage and diversity was built in, then crazy mutation rates need not be postulated. He also linked me to an article by Brian Thomas on the Institute for Creation Research website, to which it seems he is getting his information from. Thomas argues that Venema is relying on the presumption of an evolutionary history, and to make either of these claims requires a gross misunderstanding of how genetics work. We need look no further than how Venema came to his conclusions. Quote, "First, we ask how many different alleles there are for a number of genes within the current population. Correcting for the rate at which we know new forms of genes appear, mutation, we can calculate the minimum number of people needed to generate the current amount of diversity. Now, when Adam and Eve go on to procreate, no matter how diverse their genes are, they can only pass off a total of 4 gene forms. There's a limited number of alleles, or genetic differences, that can be held within their genes, and yet in our current population, we have many, many more alleles than that. Venema's argument does not rely on there being an evolutionary history. If we take just the evidence Venema is talking about in this context, the 10,000 people he's speaking about could have been poofed into existence in their adult form with no ancestral links to other primates. But the fact remains that it would have to have been 10,000 in order to explain the genetic variants we see today, or you'd have to have mutations occurring so fast it would destroy the species. This isn't based on evolutionary assumptions. It's math. 2 people can have this many alleles, no matter how diverse they are. This is the number of alleles that we have today, and this is the level of mutations you'd have to posit in order to get that number. That level would cause us to go extinct. I'm going to speak to Ali directly here. Ali, I don't think you are a dumb person. You seem relatively reasonable as well. These people that you are getting your information from are either grossly misinformed or are lying to you. It's hard to say which category an individual fits in, but there are certainly elements within the creationism movement and the idea movement that know what they are saying is complete bull and don't care. There are people that are using you to promote their agenda, and it is not an agenda for the benefit of the human race, but their own personal greed and power. Every time we see a new discovery come out that shows a literal creation to be false, and ICR or the Discovery Institute tries to refute it, we see every time the refutations are either based on an ignorance of the science or the facts they are using are flat out wrong. And we see elements of both of these in Mr. Thomas's article. Don't let them use you, Ali. I think you're better than that. Have a nice day. Honest Discussioner, out.